Hello, my name is James Kepi, and I'm the National Culinary Manager for Maple Leaf Food Service. Today we're going to discuss and evaluate the different options you have available when it comes to ribs for your menu. We're going to look at the different cuts of ribs and the comparisons between raw and fully cooked to help you make the decision as to which will work best in your operation. The two cuts of pork ribs are back and side ribs. The raw back ribs are sold peeled and unpeeled, and the side ribs are cut St. Louis style. Back ribs have an inedible membrane on the interior of the rib that is impervious to seasoning and must be either removed or cut to consume the meat. Operators choose to either boil the ribs themselves to break down the membrane, or they roast the ribs with the membrane removed. Cutting the ribs into individual bones also improves the eating experience. The membrane is very thin on the side rib and does not require removal. Back ribs are naturally tapered from the thinner shoulder end to the thicker ham end. This makes an impressive full rack, but is not easily cut in half for two even portions. What happens most times is operators either sell a full rack or an 8-bone from the shoulder and a 4-bone rack from the ham end. Side ribs are sold as St. Louis ribs with the brisket bone and tail removed. This makes for an even, squared-off rack, 4 3/4 inches wide, that is easy to portion. Ribs are sold sized. The number represents the range of ounces per rack. The smaller the size, the higher the cost, because smaller ribs are requested more by operators and are less available. Hogs have been gaining in size over the years, and the ribs are getting bigger. Maple Leaf offers back ribs in 24-28, 28-32, and 32-36. 16-20 and 20-24 were more widely available, but the animals have been getting bigger, and that size is not available in large quantities any longer. Close to 1 out of every 10 hogs may fit into these sizes. Maple Leaf offers side ribs sized as 28-32, 32-36, 36-40, 40-44, and 40-48. The 28-32 are harder to get for the same reasons as the back ribs. Operators and customers have their favorite cut between back and side ribs, and both offer advantages. Back ribs have an intercostal fat marbling, which gives a better eating experience with a higher meat to rib ratio, and they're leaner. Side ribs are larger and slightly fatty, giving them more flavor, and they can take longer to cook. There are many variations on how to properly cook ribs in food service. They used to involve boiling the rib to help break down the tough membrane before roasting and finishing them. Today, most operators are braising their ribs and finishing them on the grill. By adding liquid to the braising process, it helps retain more moisture in the rib. Every operator can make their ribs a signature item by adding cola, Guinness, red wine, or even orange juice and soy sauce to infuse more flavor into the meat. All ribs can be finished on the grill with your favorite barbecue sauce. Ultimately, the entire process will take between 3 and 5 hours, depending on the cooking method. And remember, always low and slow. If you operate a rib joint, then you need to cook the ribs yourself. But for many operations, ribs are just one of the many offerings on the menu. By using a fully cooked rib, you ensure that the dinner will always be cooked to fall off the bone perfection and basted with your signature sauce. If you're not going through a lot of ribs every night, then there's no need for you to cook, wrap, and store your ribs for days when you can have a fully cooked rib tempered in the fridge, ready to hit the grill. From a food safety and consistency perspective, using a fully cooked rib makes sense for a majority of restaurateurs. Maple Leaf has 4 fully cooked rib offerings. Under back ribs, we offer a 12-bone, 8-bone, and 4-bone rib, and we have a 12-bone side rib. All these ribs are sold frozen and fully cooked without a barbecue sauce, so that you can still customize the rib or offer them with different choices of sauce. Many operators believe they cannot put a fully cooked rib on their menu because it's too expensive. If you factor in the labor savings of a fully cooked and the possible waste of a raw, operators can make a larger contribution to margin with a rib dinner at 45% food cost than a lesser valued meal at 33%. When choosing which rib product to add to your menu, always consider the skill level of your kitchen, the time required, food safety, labor cost, and consistency of every portion leaving your kitchen. For more information, please contact your distributor or your dedicated Maple Leaf representative.